Nobody prepares you for menopause, or at least nobody prepared me. I've spent the last 2 days trying to narrow down what I want to talk about, what I want to ramble about in this video. And let me tell you something, talking has never been a problem for me. It's still not a problem. I remember a lawyer telling me I should be a lawyer because I talked him under the table. So the brain fog that is going on here, nobody prepared me for this. I'm in a phase in my life where I'm not quite starting over, but I am trying to figure out what that new direction for my life is going to be, because I am pretty unique that I am pretty much in retirement, semi-retirement, because sometimes I act like I don't know how to sit down. So for me, this is not a place of trying to get out of the corporate world or pivot into a new lifestyle. It is, but I am actually, this might sound crazy, I'm trying to get back into the groove and the feel of working and what that feels like after taking a hiatus. And let's talk a little bit about that hiatus. I actually walked away from life. I just got overwhelmed. I got burned out. I was tired of showing up for everyone else and giving myself the crumbs of what was left. And what I was doing was, it was very, very gratifying work. But I just realized I wasn't the person that was benefiting from any of that. For 30 years of my entrepreneurial life, 30 years of my life, really, I had a child and grew up and became an entrepreneur all at the same time at the age of 22 years old, which, looking at it now, I have a 23-year-old son and a 29-year-old daughter. And I look at my 23-year-old son and I'm like, he is absolutely not ready for a child. How did I have a child and become an adult and become an entrepreneur? It's because I'm a woman. Duh. That's what we do. But everything grew up for me and with me at the same time. And I am now 49 years old. And about 3 years ago, I really began this slow descent into a nervous breakdown. And I walked away from everything, from nearly 30 years of building businesses and building brands and building women and working in ministry and running a nonprofit, founding and running a nonprofit, being the vice president of a tech company. Like, the list goes on and on. And again, while it was so gratifying and it was purposeful, I started to realize after my last kid left the nest, my son was exiting high school and entering college at the time. And of course, there's that empty nester syndrome kicked in. For like the first 60 seconds, I was sad that, like, oh my gosh, oh no, what am I going to do without a kid here in the house? Because that's all I knew, was to be a mom, an entrepreneur. And at one point I was a wife, so I was going through a divorce. So everything was basically essentially leaving me at the same time. The businesses that I had built, birthed out and grew up and matured, were now on autopilot. And so they were running without me. The children that I had birthed, nurtured, and cultivated had grown up and were leaving the nest and no longer, physically needed me in that sense of the term. Like I said, I went through a divorce. And so that was a form of something being left. And I found myself in this place of not knowing my purpose, which was absolutely crazy because for all my life, I had walked in purpose. And what was happening was I was having an identity crisis because my identity was found in being a mother. My identity was found in being a wife. My identity was found in being an entrepreneur. My identity was found in being a Christian. And there's nothing wrong with that. We'll talk about that because I am a faith girly all the way. um, but my identity as a Christian had been dictated by the ministry that I was in. And that's a whole other topic. That could be a whole series. And then I also was, unbeknownst to me, entering into perimenopause. That's a whole other episode as well. So all of these things were happening to me at this one time where I was finding this, what was a sense of freedom, because I also, again, the businesses were on autopilot. So I had time to travel. I had time to, deep dive into myself, but I didn't see it that way initially. I saw it as this loss. And I began to mourn everything that seemed to be coming to an end to me, right? And there was this emptiness because, oh no, I'm not a mom. Oh no, I'm going to be single again. Oh no, I'm just not needed. And a lot of my purpose, again, unknown to me, have been attached to those things. And when I found all this, again, free time, and I remember my daughter saying it to me, she was like, Mom, do you realize how many people would love to be in your position where you don't have to work, you don't have any small children in the home, you can get up and go and do what you want? And that's such a beautiful blessing. But again, hear me, I just did not see it that way because, again, my identity was being taken from me. I felt like those were things that I was. And even in business, it didn't just stop with entrepreneurship. I wore all kind of hats as a TV talk show host, as a podcast host, as a community figure, just so many things. And again, I was stepping away from that, and my identity was gone. And all that was left was Takia. And I realized I didn't know her. I didn't know myself. I didn't know what I wanted anymore. I didn't know what to do without those things. And I really fell into a state of depression. It wasn't like I walked around every day, sad or crying, but this was an evolution of me. Really, let me see, this started, the last time I truly worked was in 2018, and it's 2026. And so this really started probably around the divorce, which was in 2022. And well, I got so much we can talk about, girl, pull up a chair. But I really found myself every day going, God, what am I supposed to be doing? What am I supposed to be doing? What am I supposed to be doing? I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing. What am I supposed to be doing? And one of my really, really good friends, she kept telling me this. She's like, you need community. You're good at community. You need community. And it was going over my head because community, what, where, how, why? And now I'm here in this place, 2026, and after having a breakdown and after selling everything and walking away from everything and just traveling and meeting someone amazing and finally letting my nervous system calm down and settle, I'm having this evolution and this epiphany of I found myself and who I am and what I want to do in this next phase of my life. And really, the interesting thing about it is it still entails and involves who I was and what I was. But I get to do things from a place of not wearing all those hats. I get to do things in a place of just being naturally who I am. Because one of my biggest obstacles was I was performing. And when you perform, you're trying to be perfect. You're trying to operate in perfection. And a lot of who I was told me that that's what I had to be in ministry, in faith, as a leader, as a community figure. Watch what you say, watch how you look. That's why I didn't think about this at all. This is totally on the fly. I spent all last night revamping and updating my YouTube, and that was the perfectionist in me. And I finally was like, girl, what are you doing? And then I was like, I'm just going to get on camera and talk. And I was like, oh no, you need to fix your lashes. You need to fix your, I was like, no, I don't. I don't. Because for what? For who? For why? This is who I am. Some days I'll be dolled and glammed up. Some days I am going to walk out here or wherever I am and just turn the camera on. So this is my evolution of me peeling away the layers and learning to not walk in perfection, but walking in unpolished purpose. And two of the things that people come to me the most for is about faith and business. And when I sat with myself, I realized that when I peel away the layers, what's rooted in coming to me for faith is overcoming. I built all those businesses and those brands because I'm good at overcoming. I'm good at finding solutions to problems. And all of those businesses were solutions to my problems. And so in this evolution, I am going to be so unpolished and so perfectly imperfect. And I'm just going to be Takia, just Takia. Thanks. Not all of the hats. But what I want to do here is I want to show you how to get to this place. The woman who says, I'm tired, I'm burned out, I'm ready to give up, I'm ready to walk away, I'm ready to pivot, I'm ready to change my life, but I don't know how to. And I'm also holding all this weight and handling all this other stuff where I feel like I'm just burned out. I'm going to show you how to overcome that. I'm going to help you overcome that. You have to do the work because that's why I burned out. I was doing all the work for everybody else. I do the work for myself, and people come to me and I realize you're not doing the work. You got to do the work. So this is day one of what's going to be a 15-day challenge by the marvelous Renee Coakley, who is my coach and mentor. She is challenging us to just start this YouTube channel and hit pause. And for me, this is not my first video on YouTube, but it's my first unpolished. It's my first thought without process. It is my first just hit the button and go. And I'm just going to get on here and talk because, man, I've been told since I was like in kindergarten, Takia, you talk too much. And I really should just start releasing and letting go. So hit that like button, subscribe, and mamas, mothers, wives, daughters, let's do this journey together. Thank you so much for letting me be perfectly imperfect and completely transparent.